Welcome to Coach Portia Presents Where Are They Now? This is where I reconnect with collectors who came through my training and find out what happened after the training, after the certification, after the excitement when it was time to put in action. Today, I'm sitting down with someone who just celebrated her 1 year anniversary in the mobile drug testing industry to talk about what this first year has really looked like. And today, I want to welcome you guys. Her name is Yolanda Yogo Mobile Solutions. Let's bring her in. Can you see her? Let's bring her in.
Hello, 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 everybody. Thanks for
Hello.
having me.
Thank you for joining. I'm so excited. So excited. Y'all, this is Yogo Mobile Solutions, baby. She is in the house. I'm so proud of her. She's going to sit down with us today and just take us back, right, guys? So, listen, Yolanda, take me back a year ago. What was going on in your life when you first decided to get into this industry?
Well, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to share my story on today. I came from transportation, 34 years in school bus, party bus field. So I've always had a background in transportation and logistics, and I used that experience to further my career throughout the years. I started off as a school bus driver in 1992, and I went from driving the bus to being a Class B instructor with the school district that I worked for. I also worked a period of time with the Highway Patrol where I learned to be a driver examiner and other things on top of that as well. I've learned from people that taught me in the transportation sector to craft my skill, so I was able to help other people that was coming into the transportation field to be better, either whether they be chauffeur or just a driver. So that's where I started off at. What got me to this point where I'm at now was I was working for a logistic company, and as a uh, supervisor slash trainer, and the company was a very nice company to work for. I liked the job that I did. However, the company decided to sell. I think maybe 3 months after I started the company, the company owner decided to sell to another company, which left me in limbo. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I had been following Coach Portia since maybe a little bit after the pandemic hit. And I was like, specimen collection. I don't know. I didn't really know too much about it. I never really heard about, I knew that people did the testing at the facilities, but as far as the mobile side of it, I never really heard anything about it until I seen her live one day. So I just started following her and kind of like, let me see what's going on, before I just hop on in. Um, but I'm one of the type of people that if it's something that I want to do and it's something that would make sense, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my research. So that's what I did.
Right. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you doing research, and after doing research you took action, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, they do a lot of research and they never take action. So kudos to you. Let's
Yes, exactly.
ask you something. So before you started training, what did you think this industry was going to be like, and what surprised you once you actually got into it?
Before my training, what I didn't have, I kind of understood because I am still Class B driver myself. I still carry a Class B CDL license with a P and an S. So I was subject to and still subject to taking urine and breath tests, right?
Hmm.
So even though I don't work for a company, I do still carry my license and I keep it current. I may do some subcontract on the side for some more companies to keep my license up. So I kind of knew that side of it. The companies have to do this in order for us to stay safe and on the roads because it's a federally regulated program, which is FMCA.
Hmm.
So, um, as far as what I expected, I didn't really know what to expect because you hear so many different things in the community, that you can make a lot of money real quick, and it's not that.
Right.
I learned early on that it takes work, it takes patience, it takes for you to get your name out there. If believing in myself was a person, I would be that person, right?
Right.
And it's not just, I'm not just saying it to be boastful or proud, but I'm saying it because I had people that believed and pushed me and to encourage me. Because had not you say, Yolanda, get out, just do it. You told me that day I was trying to complain and cry about losing the job. I started the job in like June, and by 2 days before my birthday, I got laid off.
Right.
So it was like, okay, what am I going to do? I'm just scrambling. You know, I had left the bus. I had made up in my mind that I was going to leave the bus company. Prior to coming to the business, I was a train operator, so I was working for light rail, and it was I enjoyed the job. However, it wasn't something that I want to stay in. I just want to experience it, learn it, and keep going. And I wanted to initially not work for myself. I want to not work for other people. I want to own my own book of business.
Right. Take me back to that day that you were at work, and next thing you get laid off or you get fired. Like, take me back to that day. Like, what happened? What did you think? Like, where did your mind instantly go? Like, what happened? How
Mhm.
was that for you?
I was devastated because I've never got laid off from a job. I always walked away. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? And immediately, my mind started thinking, what am I gonna how I'm gonna pay my bills? I don't have a job, blah blah. Just so many different thoughts. I was just all over the place. My emotions were just everywhere.
Hmm.
So I was it was a sad day, but I had to quickly, remind myself, it's not gonna be like this all the way always. So
Right. And when you
yeah.
called me, what happened? What did I say? Do
You
you
said,
remember?
Yolanda, you got real quiet. You was like, you got really quiet. You was like, you was listening to me, but you was like, okay, so as soon as she finished complaining and whining, I'm gonna let her know, Yolanda, this we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I was thinking you was gonna say, oh, it's gonna be okay now. You was like, no,
I
now
said good.
you said good. I was like, good. I'm like, I just lost my job. Like, what do you mean good? But sometimes, when people see the gift and believe in you beyond what you can understand in yourself and see in your own self, other people see that,
Right.
and I know that I have greatness in me, just like a lot of people have greatness, but they just need someone to help them tap into it.
Right. And I knew the hustle that you had, and I knew that job was holding you back.
It
And that
was.
I said good. That job holding you back from getting to your money, your bag.
Mm-hmm.
I seen your
Mm-hmm.
hustle. Like, it's like I've worked with a lot of people, and when I've trained a lot of people, I've mentored a lot of people, and when I know when those people have that spark,
Right.
you
Right.
have it.
Right.
Like,
I
you
was like,
got it.
yeah, I was like that guy. There's a song that says, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. I was like,
Right.
"Grr, I'm going after this. I was like, I'm gonna, like a pit bull locks into something.
Right.
I had to lock in, and
Right.
it don't, and I didn't let go until I seen the manifestation of where I'm at right now.
Right. And you got laid off at around 5 p.m.
Hmm.
And later on that day, what were you doing that night?
I got a call from a company to come do I think it was 22 or 29 people drug testing.
Wow.
Drug and
That
yeah,
night? The night
that
you
that
got laid
the night I got laid off, I got a call.
off?
I had posted a flyer on social media, and of course, because I am in the transportation world, and a lot of people know me as
Right.
Yo Biz Transportation. Yo Biz is my biz. Let's do biz. And people will call me for different things, and they always go to my page like, "Hey, do you know somebody that can drive?" This and that, always looking for resources. So I always kept myself in that place, in that space, to be resourceful, even though some people may just downplay it, but yeah, I'm that goat with the transportation.
Right. And I love that because it's so important for us to put ourselves in position, right? And have
Mhm.
skills and not be afraid to learn different skills, just becoming that person of value. And
Mhm.
usually whenever we lose a job or quit a job, or especially lose a job, we're out trying to find another job. But since
Mhm.
you had already put yourself in position, you was able to make more money. So I'm so glad that you did that because a lot
Right.
of so Coop, listen, you said, listen, what you talking about? What I told you, I said, listen, I said they fired the wrong one,
They
but the right
probably.
one today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I was trying to have a pity party, and everybody that I called to try to have a pity party, I was like, okay, what's next? I'm like, I just lost my job. What do you mean? What's next? And it was times where even starting the business, I wanted to say, you know what, I can just go back to driving the school bus, or I can go back to being a chauffeur, I can go back to the, just thinking of things that I can do to make money. But I knew that it was a plan of God for me to get into this space, to show people that it can be done, and it can be done successfully. And there's
Right,
plenty of people that, besides myself, that's doing it successfully, that's been in the business longer than I have. So I glean from them.
right, right. So look, after you became qualified, how long did it take you to say, okay, I'm really gonna turn this into a business?
Immediately right after that, I had a lot of people that's in my church, the church that I am in, that I belong to, that are entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
friends that are entrepreneurs. So it didn't take long because I had that mindset. I had business before. Prior, I had a cleaning business when I was with my ex-husband, and I had the transportation business that I started in 2002, where I teach individuals how to drive vehicles.
Right,
And also, if someone needs help with Class B instruction, I can help it as well, because I have that training. So it
right,
didn't take long at all. I jumped right into it. I knew the ins and outs as far as getting, my business registered and different things of that sort, getting insurance and making sure everything was, from top to bottom correct.
right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hmm.
Do you remember your very first paid collection?
My very first paid collection was I would say $1,050.
Mm-hmm. And that was how many days after getting qualified?
Oh, I got qualified on the 22nd of August, and that was on I believe that it was like 25th.
So not soon, not long after you got.
Not long at it. No,
So
just a few days.
what was that like for you? Because that was fresh out of the gate, right?
Fresh out the gate, I was like a horse out of the racetrack. I was like, wow, this is fast. I wasn't expecting that. Because it could have happened to anybody, but it happened to me.
Right,
Um, and I was able to connect because I was so and I was so ready to do the business, to the point that I didn't even have CCF forms. I didn't
right,
have supplies. I didn't have anything. I just know that I want to do it, and but still, it's always a ram in the bush.
right.
So yeah.
So you was and what I admire about you, and I knew that you had a hustle, is
Hmm.
because you was marketing before you got qualified.
Correct.
You already had your you already had
Correct.
your material. So that's why I'm like, okay, yeah, she won. She one of them. She one of them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and that's one of those things, like I always say, a blind squirrel can trip over a nut every once in a while, right? That doesn't happen
Correct.
for everybody out of the gate, right?
Yes.
Happen for you, right? But
Hmm.
after that, right, let's talk about what happened like once it gets quiet, right? In this
Yeah.
industry. So, because you had a high, like boom, shortly after getting qualified, you out
Hmm.
$1,500, right?
Yeah.
So then,
Yeah.
what happened after that? Like, what happened after that?
After it got quiet, because the first time I got my first initial job, I was like, wow, this is really happening. This is
Right,
really, a thing, that I can really do. And I did it, and I was nervous. The first time, I was so nervous, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to make any mistakes, of course, because you're dealing with a federal paperwork, with
right,
the FMCA. So I just made sure I paid attention, and I kind of zoned in. But after that happened, of course, everything slowed down.
right,
It's like God let me know that, hey, this is possible, it can be done, and I'm going to make a way. But when it got quiet, I had to really focus in on my inner thoughts. Okay, so what's my next move? how
right,
do i how do I get my name out there for people to know that this is what I actually do?
right,
Because I was doing it, I did it, but nobody knows my name.
right. Right.
It's like this song say, I want to go where everybody knows my name.
Right.
Nobody, they knew my name, who I was for as Yolanda in Yo Biz,
Right.
but they didn't know to the extent of what I was doing, that I
Right.
was helping companies stay compliant under a federal regulated program, which is FMCA.
Right.
So I started, making goals, writing goals, doing affirmations on the walls,
Yeah.
writing in my book, what I want this week to look like. And
Right.
I just followed through, and with the book that you have, Kingdom Principles, read those, and that helped me in the process, when it got quiet, when no one was calling my phone, when no one was looking at my flyers, and when no one was looking at my information. I made a schedule, and I said, hey, this day I'm going out to XYZ company and put my flyers on, and this day I'm calling XYZ company and I'm doing cold calls. I don't care if they hang up on me, I'm going to keep it moving. I didn't let that I didn't let a no stop me.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
That is one thing, like through this journey, I've been able to see your journey because we talk often. So I don't think a
Hmm.
week go by and we don't talk.
Hmm.
But, seeing you do the cold calls, seeing your different strategies, along the way,
Hmm. Hmm.
that you do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just so amazing to see, man. It's just amazing to see, like, you that girl out here. You
Hmm.
found your lane, and
I appreciate it.
you seem to be a lot comfortable, right? Was
Hmm.
there ever a point, during the first year, when you thought, I don't know if this is gonna work, and what made you keep going?
I knew it was going to work. I just had that confidence, and I just had that knowing, because I see other people that are doing it, and they have less tenacity. Some of them have less tenacity than I have. And if they can do it with no tenacity and the enthusiasm, I'm just saying, because I've seen people, I'm like, they're just doing it just to make the money.
Right,
But when you have a heart for what you do, and a compassion to help other people, and especially with companies, because we're initially saving companies fines by
right,
doing the testing, alcohol, drug testing. We're helping people stay out of jail, because we're offering parole violation testing. We're offering testing for Division of Family Services. So we're helping people stay liable in their situations, where they're not going back to jail, or not they're not being violated, because we're offering the services that they need,
right,
and we're offering it in a mobile capacity, which is something that, is really, really fast growing. People are really picking up on it. For instance, with the mobile, I didn't know how it was going to work. I was like, I don't know if this is going to really work. But if I was in the office, I wouldn't be able to make the moves that I'm making now, that I made through the last year,
right,
for us getting a contract with different companies, because I have the capability to go to you.
right. So, what are some of
Mhm.
the opportunities or clients you've been able to work with during your first year?
Okay. So in November, when it got quiet, when I was like, oh God, I got to figure out something. And I started doing Lyft. I started doing Lyft. I started, thinking of other ideas I could make a little money on the side. I started my driving lessons back. I never really stopped, but I started doing a little bit more.
Right,
Um, and I just said, you know what? It's time to focus in, get out of my head. Cause I was in my head. I was in my own head, cause sometimes, when we're used to a certain way of doing things, and our mindset has to change.
right,
Right. And so that's something that I had to work on, with you and Coach Chrissy, man. If my mindset didn't change between you two putting it, telling me, hey, yo, this is what you do, this is what you say, you speak into existence, and speak those positive words and affirmations and prayers into your life. And that's what I did. Being that not saying that I didn't know that, but
right,
sometimes you need that reminder, because it's a little different when you're doing business. In November, I never forget the day I got a call from a company at like maybe 3:30 in the morning, saying, hey, we seen your information on Google, and we need someone to come to our company to do a post accident. And when he told me the name of the company, I was like, oh, wow.
right,
I didn't realize the magnitude of what I was walking into until I pulled up to the company, to the concrete. I'm like, wow, these are actual concrete trucks and
Right.
big mounds of concrete, and the company has over 50 locations throughout Missouri and Illinois.
Right.
And so the guy was like, he was like, oh my God, you saved us today, because no one was open at 3:30 in the morning.
No. Right.
And I drove, got in my car, had my stuff, had my little uniform on, and went out and did the testing. And so he called me later that day. He's like, "Hey, I thank you for coming out to help us, do the testing, and we need someone to be our mobile tester." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Would you be willing to do a contract with us?" I'm like, "What?" I was out. My mind was blown. I was able to speak with the owner of the company, meet him in person. So in from there on, I initially had another company, um a local government that I am their CTPA, where I manage their drug testing program for their drivers. I also have another guy that a local small business owner, where I manage his program. I have a company, a logistics company, that I manage their post accident. So, and I just recently, just I get calls. I also have parole. What's that? I guess it's POs. I work with the PO, where I do the testing for the individuals that are out on work release or parole or whatever, and also Division of Family Services. So it's kind of fell into my lap, being visible. I think that's the most important thing, along with believing in yourself, being visible. If people know what you eat, sometimes you may think you're doing too much. You're not doing too much, because
Right.
it's never enough.
Right.
I have my logo posted everywhere, flyers, posting every when I go to the store, gas station, I'm posting up my information. So, people, you constantly put it in people's face, they're gonna remember you. They're gonna remember,
Right.
yes, Yogo Mobile Solutions. Okay. So that's some of the things. And I just got an email. I'm constantly getting emails from, and well, the biggest thing that I on in May of this year, um, I was able to partner with a large um, occupational health clinic, where
Right.
they have over about 245, 48 clients that they service. And
Right.
these clients, we either go to the location, they send us out, or people come into the facility and get tested Monday through Friday. And
Right.
so, but because I was just persistent about getting into doing something, and getting another contract or a partnership with the company, I just, it's kind of, I don't want to say fell into my lap, but I was motivated, and I called, and I kept pushing until I got to the right person and say, hey, can you give me a chance?
Right.
And that's what happened. So I subcontract for a company, and they pay me to come in and help them with the testing on a daily basis during the week.
Yeah, and you're doing really good with that. And a lot of like subcontracting, when you're subcontracting out your services in this space as an independent contractor,
Mm-hmm.
you could get paid really good in this space, with that.
Correct.
So that's what I love
Correct.
about the industry is entrepreneurship, subcontracting, or if you just want to do contracting work.
Mm-hmm.
What I love
Mm-hmm.
about it. So, what is something that you've accomplished this year that the version of you from a year ago probably wouldn't believe?
Whew. I would say self-confidence, even more self-confidence. And because sometimes, my dad used to always say, as a child, um you can dress the part, you can talk the part, but you can look the part, but it has to come from the inside.
Right,
And that's something that I really picked up on this year, because oftentimes, people say you have a hustler mentality. I wouldn't say that. I just have the heart of a lion, because a lion is, he roars. His roar is loud, but it's a real calmness and a gentleness about the lion.
Right.
And that's something that I had to learn, that believing in myself and loving myself, because sometimes when you are always the one that people depend on to do things and to be there for them, I had to learn how to pull back and allow myself to understand and know who I was as a person, because I was constantly trying to please other people and then walking in the footsteps of other people. So now I'm able to lead people and be an example for others myself, and not just be back in the background, like, so
Right.
yeah.
That confidence is everything,
Yes.
and that'll keep a lot of people stuck. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
I'm happy to see you shine. It's
Yeah.
exciting. You walk different, talk different, you move different, right?
Yeah. Started from the bottom, now I'm here.
And you're not afraid to ask for your money,
No,
right?
I'm not. It looks like it's like their phone call last night when I pulled
Right,
you in, and the guy was like, "Can I pay you tomorrow?" I'm like, "No, no, sir. I'm going to the job now. I'm driving an hour away. No, I need my money. Send me
right,
my money, my coins. I'm just being funny, but just for real. You have to. When you have confidence in who you are and what you do, you can command
Ex-
what you ask. You can ask for what you want.
right,
You know, it's been times where, I was woken up out of my sleep in the middle of the night from a call. Hey, we have a truck driver that had an accident. We need you to go, da 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 da. And I'm like, and I'm half asleep trying to get my thoughts together. And they say, well, how much would you charge? And I just say, this is a fee. And
right,
they were like, oh, okay, we'll pay that. I'm like, oh, wow.
right,
I mean, off the top of my head, I just wasn't even thinking clearly. I was just still half asleep, but when you believe in yourself, people believe in you too.
right. Ex-
And they would trust the work that you do.
Right. And
Yeah.
I remember you was like, girl, somebody called me and you was like, listen, I gotta have my prices in front of me in the middle of the night because
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
listen, because in the middle of the night, baby, charges will be charged.
Charges will be charged. And people sometimes think that you're, what the young people say, quote, you're capping. No,
Happen.
we're not capping. This is a real thing, because guess what, if that driver doesn't get tested within a certain amount of time, that company can lose their license or get a fine, or both.
Or both. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a traffic ticket. We talking about 10,000 plus per violation.
Mm-hmm.
So charges will be
Will
charged.
be charged. Yes.
So with that, what do you know today about running a mobile drug testing business that you didn't know a year ago?
Oh God, I know that you definitely have to keep your supplies constantly stocked up,
Right.
because, like, these tests right here, these rapid readers, these urine tests, the my CCF forms, I ran through them like hotcakes. I'm like,
Right.
wow, where do they go, like, who, so I've learned that you got to stay ready.
Stay ready.
You
You
got
ain't
to
got
stay ready, because they what you have to get ready. You have to definitely market yourself.
right.
um those are a few things amongst a lot, that you have to build good relationships with people,
Hmm.
that you have to, of course, be friendly,
Right.
because when you go into a business, and you may not even feel, you may be tired in your body, but you have to have a smile on your face, because their first impression is everything.
Right.
You have to look to par, right?
Right.
So when you're going to this building, in these companies or these businesses, I'm one that I pride myself on looking my best, because you never know who you may run into,
Right.
right?
Right.
And I like smelling good, because people are like, oh, you smell good. What is that? And so you have to find a way in.
Right. Uh-oh. Hold on one second. Can I pause it? Okay.
Mhm. All right, so yeah, just believing in myself, and when you go into these companies, you have to have, even when you may be timid, you may be nervous, you have to exude that you know what you're talking about.
Right.
You have to command your atmosphere, and
You got to
that's something
sound
that
like
I
the
have to
girl in the
learn.
room.
Yeah, you have to talk like like in your book. Yeah. Yeah, the tools to being, to getting them, to getting the business and the money that you're worthy of.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So let's talk about the training. What did you learn in my training that you found yourself actually using once you got into the real world?
Whew. Well, it's so much. I think the most important thing that I've learned were the kingdom principles, because you have to stay grounded, because this, you can, with this space of business that we're in, mobile compliance, it changes often. Different things are coming through the pipeline, and so they have oral
Right.
fluid testing that they're still working on getting out and getting it. So the kingdom principles, staying grounded, was the most important thing, and also, learning the different scripts that we learned throughout the class and the videos. I still go back and watch my videos, learning how to identify shy bladder, learning and to know how to deal with shy bladder, learning, how to recognize, and this is something that wasn't in the class, but I think we talked about it: reasonable suspicion.
Right. Reasons. Mm-hmm.
Because even I learned that, even some, I learned also that, you have to know who you are, and trust what you learn, you
Right.
know because even some, I've seen in some situations where some supervisors don't even understand the whole process of the drug testing. They just know the drivers have to get tested, or the workers have to be tested, but they don't know the full legits of why, and the importance of it, the importance of breath alcohol testing, why it's important, the importance of recognizing when an employee comes in and work intoxicated, how to see that and how to deal with it and how to recognize it, the signs, the smells, the actions. And so those are some things that we talked about. um and I think the most important thing was just the community, being able to go and ask someone, hey, I don't know how to do XYZ, or I'm having problems with XYZ. Can you help? So that was one of some things that I really picked up from in the community.
Right. So that, yeah, so that brings me to your my next question then. So how important, was it, to you to have support right after training instead of just receiving information and being sent on your way?
Right. It was very important because I had no clue. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do next? I know I probably get on your nerves sending emails and calling, but, it's important to have that help. It's just like a baby weren't learning how to walk. They still going to need some support because their ankles are not strong enough. They need those baby shoes, those hard bottoms to be able to support their ankles and their legs. So we just, like the same thing in the natural. We need each other to, because someone may be strong in some areas and another person may be weak, and we can come together and strengthen each other.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Have you really just sat back and just taken a, just step back and just really seen or noticed or become aware, of how far you've come?
You know what? The other day I was at the concrete company, and it really, I was blessed because they don't call my 800 number anymore. They dial my
They
personal
call
number,
your
like
number, right?
Yolanda. Um, when I went to the concrete company, and it was early in the morning, and the supervisor was like, "Hey, I need you to do this," and he was so happy because I was able to come out there and save the company money, because if that driver had went out, it could have cost some money, or even worse. And the fact that I listened to him from another room talk to the employee and say, hey, we're gonna have to send you home today. We're gonna send you home in a cab or Uber. I think it was an Uber. But you can, we're gonna have a meeting, and go through the process.
Right.
And just seeing him, be appreciative, because he, it's a serious business with testing.
Right.
And so as I was leaving out, it was like a line of like the hats that the concrete workers wear.
Right.
And I grabbed one of the hats and put the hat on my head just to
That's a
playing
picture.
around.
See, that's right.
Yeah. And I
I was
grabbed the hat and put it on my head. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I'm a concrate worker, you know. And I just kind of laugh and messing with them. And he's like, oh, you can have that hat. I'm like, oh wow. But what really made me really it really hit me hard was like, wow, this has been November. It's almost a whole year with me concrete company in this November.
right.
And it hit me hard like, wow, not the fact that I've made money in the business, but I've helped companies.
Right.
I build relationships with individuals.
Right.
Um, and when the guy said, Yolanda, thank you so much, you know, that right there really just made my heart melt, because they could have called somebody else and came and did it, you know. And it's not always me, because I have a team of people that I work with that, hey, if I can't make it, you know,
That's
I call on my team, and that's one of the importance of having a community.
and that's the thing. I'm like, do you not realize that you have come to a point, Yolanda, where you have to call people for help?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I don't have a problem with that, because, you know, I'm keeping business. I'm keeping my customers happy, and that's the
Right.
main thing about it. You know, I'm not going to not answer my phone, whether it's in the middle of the night or early in the morning. I'm not going to answer
Right.
my. I'm not just not. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Because when you say that you're 24 hours, you have to stick to it, because people are going to you. Your word is everything. Your word is your bond. And if
Right.
you break that bond, it's sometimes it's irreplaceable, like Beyonce say, or I
Right.
think it's Kelly Rowland. It's irreplaceable. You can't once it's broken, it's a done deal.
Right.
So that's something that has helped me, you know, being consistent, being persistent, and being reliable in the
Right.
business. You have to be reliable. People have to be able to count on you
Right.
to do what you're going to say.
Right. You're doing so good, Yolanda. And that's why I'm like, does she really know? Has she just come to terms to be like, wow, I'm doing like I'm that girl out here. Like I didn't quit, I didn't stop when it was quiet. I kept showing up,
Yes,
you
yes.
know. So like
It's been some quiet days where I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? It's been days months where I was like, I don't even understand how I made it. But I remember you always telling us, put some money aside, put some money
Yep,
aside, because it's going to be some days where it's going to be slow. You know,
right,
it's going to be some days where, um, it's some months where it's a weeks where it's busy. And like,
right.
I, so yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing in business, because a lot of times, because you can, in business, like you can take off and you just be making so much money. And if you're not used, if you're you, because this is the thing, when a lot of people come from 9 to 5 and they start making money, they'll forget. They be like, oh, it's up and it's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
You have
Mm-hmm.
to save your money, put some money back, because when it gets
Yeah.
quiet, you ain't got to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
ain't working, somewhere out of fear.
Right.
Keep that money saved, but keep showing up, right?
Keep showing up.
You come to a point where you're busy, you have to outsource, and listen, you're able to help other people make money, right? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
outsourcing, letting them work.
Mm-hmm.
And you have over 45-star reviews
Yes.
on Google. Let's talk about you recently got some recognition from Google, right?
Yes, I did. And I think it was the month of June.
Uh-huh.
I had a real high score for people um going to my page, and also doing the reviews and stuff in the month of June. And also for me posting, being consistent about posting, because I post. Okay, yeah, there he is right there.
Look
Um, yeah, I
at
also got an award. I can't find it. It's just in my phone. I should have had it, but there was a award that I received for through Google, and I was outdone. I was like, wow,
look at there.
you know. And it was some reviews that for some reason Google didn't put up, that they were saying that it didn't qualify. I don't know,
Right,
but you know, it is what it is.
right,
Um, I don't I don't I remain humble. Um, in everything, because a haughty spirit goes before a fall. So
Right.
I constantly have to keep myself humble, because the money that has came through my hands in the last couple of months, I'm like, wow, I
Right.
didn't make this when I was driving a train. I mean, I made good money at the train and the bus as a bus driver, but the money that I'm seeing on the that I make on a weekly basis,
Right.
just doing with this,
Right. Drug
with
test.
with the drug testing, with the DNA testing, I
Alcohol.
got. I'm not even gonna tell you no story. Today I got 3 calls. I was in church. I had to text the girl because she called my business number, but I have access to pull up my email on my system and see what number they were calling from. So I text. I'm like, hey, this is Yolanda from Yogo Mobile. How can I help you? I'm in church, but I'll call you when I get out. 3 DNA calls today
Wow.
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
Want to
Look,
make appointments for next week.
that's amazing, Yolanda.
But when you believe in yourself and you're motivated, you constantly keep yourself visible. That's the most important thing. Stay
If you're
visible.
quiet, you're broke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm working on some things, in the back, going, maybe possibly doing some classes at these companies, reasonable suspicion classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because some supervisors just don't know how to identify certain things.
Right. Yeah. And that's a bag. I told y'all that's a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Mm-hmm.
gonna pay a bag for it. They gonna
CPR classes,
yeah.
training classes, teaching them the drivers how to be more efficient in the transportation field.
Right.
Because just because you can get behind a steering wheel and drive a vehicle doesn't mean that you're a professional.
Exactly.
And that's something that I've always stuck to. I've taught plenty of drivers and people that have been in this field so for years, but they lack some things in that area. So I was able to help them fine tune and be a better version of themselves in the field that they're in, for transportation.
Right.
Transportation and logistics come together.
Right.
It's like the mom and the daddy, and they have a baby, and it's a big family. So it all lines in. It's not separate. We work together. And I've learned in this, because it's so many people that are hearing about the business, and stuff is out here saying, hey, you can make blah 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 real quick. I'm not in it for just to make money real quick. I'm in it for, as long as God allows me to stay in it, and I decide to stay in it, because of course your qualifications are good for 5 years. If I
Right.
decide to renew after the 5 years, I would love to build a legacy for my grandchildren.
Right.
My granddaughter, she was like, okay, Granny. She was up last night while I was out doing the testing. She was following me with my location. She said, Granny, you okay? She texted me and said, you okay, Granny? I'm like, yeah, I'm at the truck stop. So while I was at the truck stop last night, I began, of course, I had my Yogo Mobile shirt on. I have a shirts with my business name. And so this guy kept looking. I'm like, why is this man staring at me? So I'm like, okay, here we go. Business. My mind went to business. Hey, sir, how you doing? Are you a truck driver? He's like, yeah, I'm from Texas. He was from Florida.
Hmm.
He was just kind of walking back and forth, kind of getting his exercise in, because
Right.
he was on his little they call the layover.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, I just came here to do a post accident test for a company. He's like, really? He's like, who you work for? I was like, I work for myself. This is my business, Yoga Mobile Solutions. And so he was like, wow, that's. He said, man, you could make a lot of money in Florida. And I said, yeah, I definitely agree, because the thing about Florida that I did learn, a lot of trucks go into Florida, but it's
Mhm.
hard getting trucks out of Florida for its
Yeah.
loads.
Right. Force low. Yep.
But it's definitely a good state for those. And I told him, I said, I do have partners in Florida. So I
Hmm.
was like, hey, you have a phone? Here's my information. Tap my phone, and here's my card. So if you're ever in Missouri and you need testing, have your company give me a call. Or if you have friends that has businesses, hey, I come to you.
Right. Period. Period. So I
Yeah.
want to, I want to, I want to go back because we was just talking about, when you get into the industry, how, you can, people talk about making fast money, but you wanted to be in this for the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at now, you're a year in. what has been your biggest month, income generating month? How much have you made? What was your biggest income generating month?
Whew. My biggest income making, well, it's been a few that I was like, wow, I did that in a month. Um where I think it was one month, I think I want to say June,
June.
where June was a busy month. I was like, oh, um May was a profitable month.
Hmm.
I've had a few, and even the last couple of months has been very profitable.
Right.
Um, no, I can't say anything. It's just the fact that it just happened that way because of my mindset and
Yeah,
the
it
support
worked.
that I've had. I think last month I made about 10 grand in a month. Yeah. I didn't have to do any, like the old people say, nothing strange for change.
Right.
It's because I commanded my the, listen, the guy, when I did the contract, he had me go to a railroad company. The first time he had me go out, he said, meet me at XYZ railroad company. I was like, huh?
Right.
The railroad? I was like, oh my God, I was so nervous. I called you and told you. I was like, listen.
Right.
So he had me come into the office and meet with him, and I had my qualifications with me.
Right.
I was like, hey, I got some of them here, I got some of them over there. I had everything. Look, I even can teach you people transportation if they need that. Hey, I don't know, whatever. He wrote down on a piece of paper, like I was in a movie.
Right.
How they do? They making a big deal, and he say, wrote it down and folded the paper over and gave it to me and said, hey, this is what I can offer you to come subcontract with us.
Right.
I opened that paper up. I was like, is this per week? He said, no, that's per hour. When I tell you, I couldn't wait to get out that office.
Oh my gosh.
I went in my car and I cried and I thanked God. I was like, wow,
Look at you.
wow. And I was just like, it could have been anybody.
Right.
Anybody, you know. I even had the opportunity, I can't remember I want to say July or maybe before that, I had the opportunity to be at a local credit union,
All right.
neighbors credit union. They allowed me to come in and network, and they sponsored me to be one of the small business owners that come in to show their business. And so I was able to set up a booth, a table, and let people find out more about what it is that I do.
Right.
The thing about it is, we in this business we can't be selfish. It's not about me, myself, and I. I allowed a business associate of mine that does fingerprinting, because I can do fingerprinting, but that's not my
Right.
her knack is fingerprinting. She's
Right.
cold with it.
Right.
So she taught me fingerprinting, showed me how to do it and perfect it. And I showed her what I knew for as DOT, because
Right.
she went through a course and she wasn't really successful with learning the information from someone else. So I'm like, hey, I know we teach each other.
Right.
And so I wasn't selfish in that thing. And I think that's what a lot of times you get your blessings by helping other people.
Right.
It's all not all about always getting money,
Right.
but gaining knowledge and gaining relationships and gaining friendships from this.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Hmm.
And that's the thing.
Hmm.
Like we can all eat.
Yeah.
There's no lack when it comes to money out here. There's no
Yes.
lack.
Yes.
Money is an
None.
energy. Money is an energy. And
Money comes to me.
period. Easily
Money
and
flows to me easily and effortlessly.
effortlessly. Every day,
Yeah.
all day. So listen,
Yes.
if somebody was watching right now and they've been thinking about, becoming a specimen collector, getting into this space, but they're scared to start, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to believe in themselves
Right.
first and foremost. To not let go of, if it's something that you want to do, it's definitely attainable.
Right.
And I would tell them to not to look at what someone else's experience, not to look at someone else's success, because everybody's success is going to be different.
Right.
So yeah.
Get your own experiences out here. You have,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So
Yeah.
you just celebrated 1 year.
Yes. 1 year in business.
1 year of business. How does that feel for you? Like what
Man,
oh,
it
uh,
felt so good. I was so excited yesterday. I was like, I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna put some clothes on, I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna celebrate,
right.
And I'm still basking in the fact that I've been in it for a year. I have not arrived, but I'm here.
You're here,
I stuck and stayed. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they were like, oh, this ain't working. This ain't working. I can't do this. I'm stop. But I stayed in it, and I stayed consistent. And now it's a year later, and I'm just so ecstatic, and I'm looking forward to many more years to come. I'm looking forward to many more contracts. I have people. Yes, that's it right there. I have people that companies that's been asking for me. Hey, can you send Yolanda?
right.
You know, can you send Yolanda? I'm like, wait a minute, why they want me to come? Because it was a situation one time. Well, I had to educate,
Right.
because even though people may have a higher status for as their position in their job or whatever, I learned that even the people that have these big degrees and a lot going on, they don't know everything either. They're human, and
Right.
so it was a situation where I had to do alcohol test, and the DER was in the room with me, and the person that was going to test was in the room, and another person that she was training. And I said, okay, so I got his information. I filled the form out. I said, guys, I'm going to need you to step out of the room while I do this alcohol test, because, of course, this it's the legitimacy of the test, and also it's privacy. It's a privacy matter. So the lady looked at me kind of funny, like, why do I have to leave? I'm like, well, if the person that done it previously had stayed kept you in the room, that's actually outside of the guidelines and the regulations for us alcohol testing. The
Right.
person You're only supposed to be the person that's testing and the person that's doing the test in the room. And so that right there, I commanded, respect, first of all, for foremost, and I taught them something that they didn't know that was incorrect in doing in the beginning. So yeah,
Yes. Look at you. Listen, you got to school them, baby.
you gotta school them. Listen, you gotta school them.
Listen. So when we sit back down, right? When we sit
Hmm.
back down for where they are now at year 2, where do you want your business to be?
Wow. Okay, so year two, I looked to have, of course, a team of at least 5 people, out, doing business, doing their own book of business, and also helping working with my brand as well. Um, I will definitely have maybe a fleet of vehicles. Maybe I'm thinking two right now, just starting off next year, 2 vehicles. I would love to have a vehicle because I love transportation, and it's always been my that's my baby, right? I was able to raise my children driving a school bus and still be a mother, and learn a whole lot. I learned a lot throughout the years. um get a vehicle with a bathroom in it.
Yeah.
I would love to have a brand. I would be branching off into other states,
Yeah.
offices in other states, Yogo Mobile Solutions in other states, Illinois and Kansas City, still in Missouri, but other cities,
Right.
within my region.
Right. And it is so. It is. You
Hmm.
done put it out there. It gotta happen.
Yeah, it's gotta happen.
It gotta happen.
It's in the atmosphere. Yeah.
In the atmosphere. I thank you so much, guys. There
You're
you have
welcome.
it. Yo Go Mobile Solutions, guys. Here we are again celebrating her 1 year, guys. And with
One
her
year.
tenacity, with her discipline, her being courageous, her showing up anyway, her continuing to show up when it's quiet, when nobody's clapping, when nobody's calling? What is quiet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Here we are, one
Yes.
year
Yes.
later.
Later. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations,
Thank you.
congratulations. You
I
are
appreciate it.
doing your thing. It's just so amazing to see. I can't do nothing but smile from ear to ear. To you.
It makes you feel good when you know that what you have, I didn't just browse through the information and just say, okay,
Right,
I'm gonna do it.
right,
No, no. I went back. I studied. I was at work at the work studying.
right. Yeah.
Who do where do that at? But I wanted to do come into the business knowing the right way to do stuff, not just half-heartedly do it, because this is serious. It's a serious business. So
And
yeah.
you have to study to show yourself approved.
And I appreciate your patience, your time, your knowledge, because um you could have been doing it. You could have been working at a Fortune 500 company teaching their people, but you decided to step out and to do it and teach other people how to be successful. So I thank you. I appreciate you.
And I thank you for applying it and going out there and making
Yes.
and getting that
Yes. Yes. Yes.
period.
And I'm repping the St. Louis Cardinals, guys.
Reference, period. There it is, guys. Yogo Mobile Solutions. Make sure you guys follow her. If you want to plug in your social media platforms where they can reach you at or follow you.
Sure. My Facebook page is Yogo Mobile Drug Testing Solutions on Facebook. My TikTok is I have a TikTok. It is Yobiz, YOBIZ, to you, the number two, then you. And then, of course, my YouTube page, which is Yobiz Transportation. So I tie it in both businesses together
Right.
on my YouTube. So it's YOBIZ Transportation on YouTube.
And if you are a business out there in St. Louis, Missouri, and in any of the other following surrounding areas, we're
Yes.
celebrating her 1 year right here, $50 off your first invoice. Screenshot
Yes.
this. Make sure you give her a call. Tell your friends because she is a professional.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that is it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Yolanda.
Thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
You're
And we'll see
welcome.
you guys back here next time on Where Are They Now?